So we are here with Greg James before he plays his set at Propaganda in Leamington Assembly tonight. Greg, how are you doing?
James and James on James.
It's Greg James with James and James is what it is, isn't it? It's James Lewis and James Crawford.
James cubed. No, not cubed. Whatever.
Squared? Cubed?
No. Who cares?
Who cares, really? Yeah. It's so late in the day. I don't think we need to talk about maths at all.
But James and James, hello. Nice to be in Leamington.
How are you, mate? It's lovely to meet. How is it to be in Leamington, actually? Because we were thinking what we're going to ask you, and we thought, like, are you touring? Are you touring universities right now?
I think touring would be an overstatement.
Or you just thought, you know what? Like, I finished that Netflix series. Got nothing to do tonight. Let's pop out and do propaganda.
I do a few. I've done a few freshers.
Okay.
But I've been selective. So the people of Leamington are lucky.
We're lucky individuals.
That's what we're saying. So Leamington, I don't think I've been to Leamington Spa before.
Really?
I've just realised that. And I've been to most iconic places in the UK.
You've been to most spas.
I've been to most spas. I have. Yeah, but you're from Warwick.
Yeah. So what's quite interesting about Warwick University? It's a bit of a con, really, because it's actually in Coventry. You know, and Coventry's lovely.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound as good as Warwick.
Yeah, exactly.
The real question is, why didn't they name it Coventry University?
I know.
Just let that settle.
What they've done there is it's all about the brand, isn't it? I guess at the end of the day,
branding is key.
Yeah.
You know, you'd rather go to the red brick Warwick University than being sent to Coventry, which exactly. In olden days speak is being told off.
But the thing is, because people don't want to live in Coventry, they end up living into Leamington. So it means you've got this divide in Leamington. You've got the local. It's like sort of East Coast West Coast rap battle. You know, you've got the Leamington locals versus Warwick Uni students.
It's like proper north and south divide, just in a town, not even in a country.
Where are you both from?
As in the real world. You're Reading.
I'm a Reading man.
The Royal County, and I'm Surrey.
Okay.
I'm Surrey boy.
Yeah.
What about you? Where are you from?
Well, all over the place, but I suppose.
What do you mean all over the place?
Well,
where did you grow up?
All over the home counties.
Oh really?
Oh,
Kent.
Nice.
I did a stint in Kent.
Right.
Stint in Essex.
I like that stint.
And a stint in Hertfordshire.
Oh, Hertfordshire.
And then went to university in Norfolk.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So East Anglia has been big. Yeah. Been big in my life.
And you did theatre?
I did English and drama.
You're joking. I do English and drama.
It's a great course.
It's amazing.
It's a great. And you do the radio as well.
This is quite.
You're basically me. 10 years ago.
I'm shaking, Greg.
You're gonna take my job, my livelihood. You're basically the new me.
Like only 36 people in my year do, and there's thousands do English and theatre.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
I loved it. Yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed it.
It was just 3 years.
I really enjoyed it, and without sounding like Donald Trump, I liked it because the ratio of boys to girls was great. I mean, there were 8 boys and about 40 girls.
I know. Yeah,
I don't mean that in a pervy way.
Okay.
I just mean I get on with girls quite well. It's like, no, I mean not in that way. Just really nice. It's really fun.
You're a ladies' man, but not in that way.
Yeah, exactly. Not dapper laughs. But we just had a really nice time, and actually, girls are really good at working. Yeah. So you work.
They're not
work a bit hard.
I don't want to use the word
try and impress them.
Yeah.
Naturally, because you're just a pathetic, teenage boy.
I don't want to say more professional.
Yeah.
But But
they sort of bring out the best. They brought out the best in me in terms of acting and stuff. I really enjoyed it.
I loved it. Because I went to an all-boys school, secondary school.
We're basically the same person.
Yeah. It's alarming.
Yeah.
How many years was your course? It was just 3.
3-year course, yeah. And I actually gave up the English in the last year because Radio 1 was coming knocking. So I didn't really have any time to do all the reading.
So Radio 1 was knocking in your 3rd year?
I'd sort of made a contact with them in my first year actually, because I won a Student Radio Award.
Nice.
Clang.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And then I had 2 more years of university, so I used that as a stepping stone to get into various radio stations and go and do work experience and meet people and stuff. And then Radio 1 came back and said, we'd like you to do a pilot when I was in my 3rd year, so I did. Well, I've been stupid not to. And I'm glad that I did.
Can I ask, what did you do on the night that you found out that Radio 1 asked you to do a pilot? How did you celebrate that?
I don't remember the night when they asked for the pilot, but I remember when they offered me my first show. Okay. And they offered me an actual contract of a job of work.
Real money,
cash money. They called me up, and I was on holiday with my mum and dad at the time, and I just sort of fell to my knees like Michael Jackson in Earth Song. And it was just, I cried.
You made it.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Where were you on holiday?
I was in the south of France, and my mum and they offered me a 2-year contract, as I thought I was going to get at best just to be the cover guy.
That's longer than Gareth Southgate.
It is, yeah. And not quite as much money though. And they offered me 2 years and a show, and they said, we want you to do the early breakfast show. And I said, what about JK and Joel, who were on it at the time? And I went, and they said, don't worry about that. So that was it. The moral of the story is never go on holiday, because they went on holiday for 2 weeks and I covered their show for 2 weeks.
And that was it.
And well, it wasn't it, but
while the cat's away, the mice will play.
Exactly. While the cats are away, a cheap student mouse will come in and lowball them, and basically cost half what they cost.
Yeah, and that's it. That's it done.
So it took away the romance of the situation, but that's essentially what happened.
Pretty much.
You didn't have to say that. It was a really
and so, I mean, what do you think? I mean, how important do you think shooting radio was for where you are now?
Well, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I wouldn't be sat here in Leamington Spa
in a dingy room
talking about it.
Can we just talk about this room actually? I mean, when you look around, it's just very odd what you've got there. So behind you, there's a Toby Carvery sign, and how does that end up there?
Do you know what this room screams of? Of a man who has been married for 5 years and has finally been allowed his man cave by his wife.
Yeah.
But she doesn't she's really had a say in what happens, and he said, oh, can I buy something really fun? And she's gone, no. But we can keep the breeze blocks exposed.
Yeah.
And you can have a weird little caravan and a foosball table. But that's it.
And a Dalek, and that'll do you.
It reminds me of something off the Prank Patrol.
It's got that air about it, yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen next. Is someone going to pop out of those mummy masks over there?
Yeah, Jeremy Beadle's going to jump out, which would actually be incredible because he's been dead for 15 years.
Yeah, it would be quite a surprise in Leamington Spa.
He's been mummified.
Yeah, I always wondered.
Anyway, so back to your question.
Yeah.
Student radio was very, very important. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today if I wasn't doing it. I don't think I would be anyway. Then I might have gone through a different path.
Yeah.
The path was a great one for me, and I was very lucky to get through that process, I suppose.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was amazing. You get to learn everything. You get to learn what you're good at and what you're not very good at, and you improve, and you listen back to your shows, and you be the station manager for a bit, or you can be the producer or present or do sport or whatever it might be, and you can just find out what you like, really.
And I'm sure you're asked this all the time. I mean, was radio something you always knew, or was it really when you got to uni and started seeing the different societies and that kind of thing, you thought, actually, that's what I'm going to join?
No, it definitely happened before university. So I did... When it started to take hold properly, I was doing hospital radio when I was at school.
Right.
So I would go and help out at Radio Stortford.
Yeah.
At the Hearts and Essex Hospital, and I always knew that I just really loved it. I didn't know if I'd ever be very good at it.
Yeah.
But I knew that I really liked the idea of creating a little club for the listeners, I think.
Yeah.
So those sorts of shows I listened to religiously. I would listen to late night shows.
Right.
And it's a bit of a cliche now that everyone always says it, but you listen under the covers. I mean, I wasn't literally under the covers listening, but it's that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You're on your own, and you sort of become mates with these people that are on the radio. So
yeah, most definitely, yeah.
That always appealed to me, and I wanted to do that for other people.
Right. And what kind of, just out of interest, what sort of shows were, who were your heroes?
I listened to a lot of Ricky Gervais podcasts when he was on XFM.
Yeah.
So I listened to a lot of that, and they were very dangerous and rude and stupid, and just felt quite anarchic, but not in a annoying way. It was just them being quite funny,
right,
and rude, and the dynamic was really good, and you sort of wanted to be in that gang. I listened to a load of stuff. Weirdly, I listened to a lot of Jeremy Kyle.
Oh, really?
He used to be on... Jeremy Kyle used to be really good, by the way.
Right.
So Jeremy Kyle used to be on... Well,
still is.
Debatable.
He's become a bit of a parody now, isn't he? But
yeah, most definitely.
He used to have a radio show called Jezza's Virgin Confessions.
Oh.
It used to be late night.
That's amazing.
Late night on Virgin Radio. He started on the radio. So he started.
I thought he was a life coach since birth.
No. He started on the.
He just had the tip.
He started on the radio doing essentially what he's doing now. So he would do a confessional show,
right,
where people would call up and he'd give advice and stuff. So I used to listen to that because he was really good at it. And then he went to Capital, so he did that show there. And there's a guy called Steve Penk,
right,
who used to have a show on Capital late nights. Used to listen to him quite a lot. Yeah, so those sorts of shows, and then I listened to Test Match Special and Terry Wogan and Chris Evans, all sorts of stuff, and then Moyles on Radio 1, and then Scott Mills actually was someone that I really looked up to, well, still do, but particularly when I was a kid. I used to listen to him on the early breakfast show, so I remember getting up early and wanting to listen to Scott because I had a real sort of affinity with him, and I was like, I like this guy. I don't know why, I just like his attitude or whatever it was. So I think those sorts of people that just were very good single broadcasters that could just talk like you were their mate.
Yeah, and I guess now you're living the dream, you're working alongside him.
Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly, and that was weird to work alongside him, and then eventually take his show, and then be on every day after him. It's kind of weird because he was on the radio when I was at school. Yeah. So it's been great to become mates with him. Yeah. But also to sort of be talked about in the same sort of breath as him, being like on the daytime lineup. It's kind of amazing. It's still cool every day for me to hear that.
Is there anyone in radio right now that you haven't worked with, but you would really love to? Who's some people who are on your list, if you like? I don't know. That's a very good question. Not really. I don't think. I don't necessarily really want a co-host. I don't think I would work best with somebody else. I don't think. You work better alone. well, no. I mean that's one egotistical way of looking at it. But no, what I mean is that I prefer the conversation between me and the listeners. I think that's really important, and that. Would you say that's your favourite thing about? Definitely. Yeah. Definitely, my favourite thing about it is the reaction of the listeners, because it's if you get a genuine conversation going, then it's like you've won. You're doing your job properly, and you've sort of nailed it in terms of they're getting it and they're treating you like a friend, which is cool. I love working with Alice Levine. I love doing shows with her. I think if I was to ever do a show with somebody, it would probably be her, because I find her funny and she takes the mick out of me and I take the mick out of her. But it's really good. There's good fun. I don't use the there's good banter between you. There's good banter. Yeah, she's really good fun, and I love doing the show with Chris Smith as well. I think he's hilarious. What about people you've interviewed? Yeah, like who's the best? I don't want to say best, but as in have you ever sat down and interviewed someone and thought this is just great, we could just go to the pub right now and continue this. In those terms, well, the person that I really love interviewing is Lord Sugar. Yeah, he is. That's very recent. He's miserable. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. He's miserable, but in a brilliant way, and it's a real. I watched that and I felt. Yeah. I didn't feel like it was fun. I felt not that you felt awkward, but you were like, oh my god, somebody help me. With that interview, you grin and bear 20 minutes. Yeah. For you get something fun out of it in the end. I really enjoy interviewing him because it just feels like a naughty nephew poking the uncle and just being like, I don't want to be even more annoying. So he's really good to interview. I really enjoy interviewing Ricky Gervais a lot. He's great fun. And who else do we have recently who was good? We have loads of great people who have been on. Yeah, I'd say Ricky is pretty good fun. There's not many people funnier than him, I don't think. And is there anyone on the list? I mean, getting tiny Kanye West in real life. I'd love to get Kanye West. Yeah, I would love to interview him. I think I could do a really fun interview with him. Yeah. Because you just hear quite serious stuff with him. Yeah. You see his Ellen interview? You seen that? I can't say I have. No. He did this interview, daytime TV with Ellen, and he was just going off on one about comparing himself to geniuses, essentially. Right. So he was going, Picasso is dead. Steve Jobs is dead. Don't talk to me about being likable. Yeah. What are you talking about? It's daytime TV. Loads of mums in the audience going, what's he talking about Picasso for? So he's great. I think he'd be fun. Just be great. I mean, imagine the people would listen to that, wouldn't they? Yeah. Because it's just people care about what he has to say. Definitely. Yeah. So he's on the list. Barack. Huge. I love Barack. Yeah. He's going to have some time on his hands as well. Yeah. He's going to be fresh. Got to be doing the rounds soon, isn't he? Yeah. Yeah. Got to be. He'll be on Ellen. And moving from
Kanye and Barack to another similar character, back to Chris Smith with the news.
Yes. What a man.
So I noticed recently you've been working on a project together. You're working on that, on a book.
Yes.
What's that all about then?
Well, it's a good question. Well, an agent, a literary agent, was listening to our podcast.
Which I love, by the way.
Thank you.
Don't want to.
You're a podcaster.
I am a podcaster. Yeah.
I didn't want to say it earlier, but
no, that's good.
I'm also a Ricky Gervais podcast.
Oh, good. Well, it's he's the master.
Fall asleep to it. It's nice.
Just while we're on it, I used to email in regularly to podcaster as a podcaster. Like I used to pretend I was 2 weeks behind on the podcast.
Oh, so we gave you shout outs in the future.
Yeah, I'd say I'm James from 2 weeks ago, and can I have a shout out?
Oh, that's you.
Yeah, and I was never behind. I was really lame. It was actually that I was bang up to date, but I just wanted to shout out.
You're James from 2 weeks ago.
I am, yeah.
But yeah. you're here now.
Yes, and I'm very much in the present.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're here now. What was the question? Oh yeah, Chris Smith.
Sorry, Chris Smith.
So this lady sent us an email and said we would like you to. Have you ever thought about writing a kid's story?
Yeah.
Because she said, no offence, but I think you two are stupid enough to come up with a crazy world.
Bit rude.
It's a bit rude, isn't it? Yeah. I told her to f*** off.
Rightly so.
No, I didn't. And then I got over that, and then she eventually emailed back. And we went and met her, and she said, come up with some ideas, let's see what happens. And she heard something in those stupid podcast things that she thought could make into a decent children's story. Anyway, so we wrote a couple of ideas down, and here we are. We've written this book, and it's been we're being published by Bloomsbury, which is a real publisher.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah.
They've been responsible for quite a few.
Were they not Harry
Potter?
They're quite big.
They're
quite big.
I want to mention the age people.
I've written the next Harry Potter. So they wanted it, and they really like the story. So the story is called Kid Normal, and it comes out next July, and it's all about a kid called Murph who accidentally gets put in a school for superheroes, and everyone else has got capabilities.
I like
that. But he hasn't.
Capes and capabilities.
Capabilities. So we've played with that there.
Yeah.
And it's a sort of parody of a superhero story, and a nice story about being normal and being the best, and it's fun, and it's
that's cool. It must have been fun to make.
It's been great.
Yeah,
it's been weird to do.
There's something different,
something completely different, but actually we found it relatively. Easy is the wrong word, but it came out quite easily, and the story just flowed.
Natural.
We just
because like David Walliams. He's gone into that kind of sector, hasn't he? And you wouldn't think that of him. Is it something you'd look to do more in the future?
Yeah,
if
definitely.
It's
we've got another one to write. So we've got two, which we've got to do.
Amazing.
And then and we'll see how they go.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty positive at the moment.
And one final thing, because I know you're going to have to dash off for your big set. Obviously today, it's been announced that you're going to be the new face of BT Sport Cricket.
Yes.
I mean, that must be a dream. I mean, you obviously
it is.
Test match better all your life.
And that was probably the first bit of radio that I ever heard.
Right.
Because my dad would have just played it, and I would have probably heard it and just thought, who are these lovely old men talking about nonsense?
Yeah.
And so that storytelling stuff was something that I was really into. And that's why I got into cricket, really, and played it all the time when I was a kid, and I've done a few shows. Did quite a big stint on 5 Live doing some cricket shows over a few summers, and this gig kind of came out of nowhere, because really it's a gig that doesn't exist unless you're a cricketer.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do a cricket show on TV.
Yeah.
And I hoped that at some point there might be something like a League of Their Own type cricket show, or a Soccer AM type thing, or whatever. But for them to call up and go, we're not going to pick an ex-cricketer, we want to put you on it.
Amazing.
I mean, my mind is still blown.
What's going to be brilliant is you're just an excited fan. That's going to come through, rather than like just an ex-cricketer who's getting paid a bit of money.
I hope so. I think that BT Sport deliberately want somebody different to do it, and that they're making a statement by saying we're going to change the coverage a little bit. But I'm a massive cricket fan, so it's going to be. I'm not going to ruin it. And I still like the traditions of the game, so I know what good cricket coverage should look like. So I'm not going to be there sort of doing fart gags all the time, all the time.
But
in your pleated white jumper,
playing wacky sound effects and put me on the voice changer, Swanee. It's not going to be like that. We are going to do it properly. But it's going to be a real challenge. It's going to be terrifying. But bring it on.
You'll smash it. You'll smash it.
Well, great. I wish you the best of luck with it, Greg.
Are we going to sign off?
I think we are.
This is sad.
We're signing off.
It's a sad moment, but thank you very much for your time tonight, Greg.
Pleasure.
It's been great fun. And
thank you.
Yeah, good luck tonight. And if ever you're back in Leamington, Viali's is a great spot for a kebab just over the road. So
don't hold your breath.
Yeah, I won't expect much.
Hey kids, are you going to come boogieing in the discotheque in a minute? Are you coming in for a boogie?
After sitting in this creepy room, he is never coming back. I can assure you of that.
I will be getting out into the Leamington Assembly tonight, and I will be there. Yeah, right. I'm looking forward to
it. Get moshing as I play Mumford and Sons.
I'll be creating the mosh, Greg.
Mayo, Merchant, Lewis, and Crawford. The home of some of the greatest radio disc jockeys of all time. You're listening to Raw 1251 AM.